Morning folks, it's Monday and I've just removed this with a great deal of difficulty with a Stanley knife blade from the top of the manifold. There's no gasket underneath it, so there is another potential air leak. As I said, when you pressed it down you could see petrol coming out this edge, so obviously it's been leaking. So I'm going to put that back with a gasket underneath it. I've also had to ease the holes to make it fit properly, so I'm going to put a gasket on like that, and then that just wants trimming a bit, that gasket. So we'll have that trimmed up and we'll have that fitted. I've given the carburetor a thorough clean. I've done a little bit more to that, but I think that's about as much as I can do really. I might just see if I can pick up a bit more on this edge. I mean, this is the critical sealing edge around here, and with a spongy enough gasket, but these gaskets are very thin, and I'm not going to reuse that. That's one I made actually. I'm not going to reuse that. I might put it underneath and put another gasket with it, just so that we get a nice squeeze up. But that just needs enlarging a bit around the holes, so I shall do that. I've thoroughly cleaned all the carburetors, all the jets I've had out and everything, and I've taken out the pilot mixture screw and counted the number of turns it was out and reset it and blown all the pilot ways out. I've also ordered a new top gasket for the carburetor top, because this one is a little bit hors de combat, although it is sealing, but it's old and hard, so I shall be getting a new one of those by the weekend. So I'm going to crack on with this now, make another gasket like that one out of heavier gasket paper, and then we'll put it back together and we'll see what we shall see. Okay, bye for now. Well folks, just gone 3 o'clock and she's running and she's throttleable, but she won't take over now, so I'm going to leave that till the end of the, it's giving up on it. Leave that till the end of the week when the carburetor top gasket comes. But it certainly starts a lot easier. But I now appear to have an alternator bearing problem. Now I knew the alternator bearings were rough, and I took them out and stripped them and cleaned them and greased them and put them back together. But it looks like I haven't got away with it, and I can't really start it up again with them like they are. So I'm going to strip that off now and take the bearings out, get the numbers off them, and I'll order some on the net tonight and keep the job going like that. So I've got the battery on charge. Not sure, it looks like it needs much of a charge, but there you go. And I'm going to crack on, so I'll bring you back later. There she is, running again. Still not quite right, but a lot better than it was. A lot better than it was. I can't find anything wrong with the alternator. I've checked it out. It won't take over smoothly, and I can't get the pilot jet mixture to set, but that's a minor problem. Other than that, you know, we've made some headway. But as I say, I'm going to wait till I get this carburetor top gasket, which should be on Friday. I'm just trying to get this setting correct here, and it just doesn't seem to make any sense. This is supposed to be the mixture setting for the pilot jet. Oh, that's better. Ah! Perhaps it's there. Perhaps it's there. Nah. It is throttleable now anyway, of a fashion. I shall persevere with it. I'll bring you back if I get any more done, but it's getting late now, it's gone 4 o'clock. So that might be the end for Monday. Oh dear. Oh listen, there's an audible warning on the ignition. Bye now. Right folks, it's still Monday. And I'm going to pull up a chair. Because I'm pretty sure I've cured one fault, which was the air leak on the carburetor flange. That's fine now, I've tested that, it's not leaking. And the engine's throttleable, right? When you open the throttle it picks up, it doesn't cut and stop. But it's hard to start and it's running very, very rich. Black flaky carbon on the plugs, which is really rich mixture. And there's no mixture control on this type of carburetor. All you've got is a little mixture control for the pilot jet, which you set the slow running with. And as I said before, the problem is with this carburetor, I do not have a manual for this type of carburetor. It's a 2618, right, which is not. I've got 4 different carburetors in the manual and it isn't any of them. So there you go. I'm just going to have to soldier on with it. Anyway, it's 4:45. I'm brassed off, I've had enough, and I'm going to go home and think and have a think and do some research. Get on the computer, have a cup of tea, have a chicken pie for me tea, and see if that makes me feel any better. Bye now. Hello folks, I'm still on with carburetor woes, but last night, laying in bed thinking about carburetors like I do, much to the annoyance of my wife, I had 2 revelations. The first revelation was the memory of my old Land Rover. I had a 2.25 litre petrol Land Rover, which had a Zenith oblique Solex because of the same company carburetor on it, and it was nothing but trouble. It was hard to start, it used to overfuel, I could never get it to run reasonably, always seemed to be running well on the rich side, and in the end, another problem with it was the fact that the early Land Rovers had a mechanical linkage on the throttle, which used to wear the carburetors quite badly, and my carburetor was quite badly worn. And in the end I junked it, and I made a manifold and I fitted a 2-inch SU carburetor to it, and that Land Rover was absolutely transformed. Right? It went from being difficult to start to starting first go, and it went from doing 14 miles to the gallon to doing 21 miles to the gallon. And it ran just like a little sewing machine. And if I had another SU carburetor, this is what I would do to this. I would just scrap that carburetor. But having had lots of experience with 2CVs, my 2CVs on the road used to run like little sewing machines. And so, because these carburetors have no mixture adjustment on them, the only mixture adjustment is for the pilot jet, which only runs on tick over, and that's a volume screw. It's not really a mixture adjustment, it's a volume screw for the pilot setting. You adjust the mixture by raising or lowering the float level, and I thought I've got to check in the manual to see if I've set that bloody float level right. And it looks like I have set it right, but for the wrong carburetor. So mea culpa, I'm afraid. It looks like I've set the float level. I know I set the float level measuring down from the top gasket joint to the petrol, which is what you do for the single downdraft carburetor. For the twin downdraft carburetor, you measure from the centre of the float to the gasket joint, and I don't think I did that. So I'm now going to take the carburetor top off, and I'm going to reset the float level and see if that makes a difference. I'm hoping it will, because I'm just about out of ideas for this. I know these carburetors can be a pain in the arse when they're not working right, and I've read a lot of stuff on various Tube CV and Pembleton websites detailing how to set them up. So that's what I'm going to do now, and let's hope it works. Okay, see you later. Well, will you look at that? What a difference. You have to set it to 18mm from the joint, including the gasket, to the centre of the float, and that's what I've set it to. And now I can get it to tick over, and the mixture screw is working. So I've set the tick over mixture with that little screw down there to get a smooth tick over, and that seems to be absolutely fine, people. So there we go. At last, something good has happened. So I'm going to call, for now, until we use it, I'm going to call that done for the carburetor. And we'll have to continue on at a later date if it needs more work. But there you go, ticking over nicely. Bye now. I'll bring you back if there's anything more interesting to show you. It looks like it's Success Tuesday. And I've had a chicken pie for lunch. Can't be bad. Bye now. Well folks, that wraps it up for Tuesday. I'm happier with it, with the carburetor now. The tick over is setting up beautifully, and it just sits there and pops away like a 2CV engine should do. I'm not happy with the alternator bearings. They are shot. I should have stripped that alternator and take the numbers off, and I'm going to see if I can get some tonight by searching on 2CV alternator bearings. Other than that, I've wrapped the HT lead cables up, neatened them up, and I've started to and then the battery went, and so I've put a new battery in, which now it's a full battery, and I've started on the bonnet. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to do that piece down here tomorrow as well. Just put a little stretched cowl over there just to neaten that up, put a bit of stiffness back in. This is just putting a bit of stiffness back in, really. I'll probably just rivet that round. I won't bother pressing about with it, welding it. Them bits are alright, them bits are alright, that bit's alright. And then I've just a big cowl to make for the top, and I think if I take a measurement across here and put 2 folds on at about 45 degrees and then offer it up, I shall be something like. So there you go. Right, so that wraps it up for Tuesday, folks. I'll bring you back tomorrow. Another thing that I'm not happy with, and I'm going to try a new one, is the ignition coil. I've tried that coil, it won't start on that coil down there. It's a bit of a bodge that, but it's not. It's still doing this business that as soon as you release the key it fires and runs. So it's obvious that the spark is cutting out when you're cranking the engine, and that is one of the things that all the 2CV people, all the Pembleton people say, the coil's knackered. Right? And they're not supposed to run hot, and this one is getting quite warm. They're supposed to run warm when they're running, but not hot, and they say if it's running hot then it's knackered. It's got a shorted primary circuit. So there you go. So I'm going to get into the coil and see what difference that makes, if that makes a difference to the starting. But I think we're getting there. Now we've got it ticking over beautifully, we've advanced to tech level. Right, see you tomorrow, folks. Bye now. Good morning, people. Or should I say good late afternoon, it's 3:30. I've been doing some testing. First of all, the ignition switch. So there's the ignition switch in the off position. We're on the ignition circuit. There's the ignition switch in the on position, which shows that it's got at least 3 ohms and sometimes more resistance. As you wobble the key, it changes, and when you turn the key into the start position, it gives a backward kick straight away. So we know that when you turn the key into the start position, the feed to the coil increases in resistance. So that is why it starts as soon as you release the key. As soon as you release the key, the voltage feed to the coil goes up again. Right, we're back on again. I don't know what that beep was, but never mind. Right, there we are. That's what happens when you turn it into the start position. So when you turn the key on, it switches the coil on, but when you turn it into the start position, the resistance increases. So that's why we're getting low voltage on the coil, which is cutting the spark, and that's why the engine starts as soon as you release it from the start position. It could also be caused by the starter drawing too. Right folks, here's the ignition switch. When you turn it into the start position, look at the resistance increase. So that's why it's cutting the engine until you release the key, and then you get a burst of voltage which fires it. So we've got a faulty ignition switch. I've also been testing the ignition coil, and that seems to be outside the parameters. I managed to find out what resistance it should be on the primary. It should be 3.6 ohms plus or minus 0.2, and it's over 4 ohms, so it looks like that the coil's shot as well. I've ordered a new coil, and in the meantime I've been up on the roof, up at my cousin's, not on the roof but up a ladder, just putting some loose slates on because he's been having a leak, so that's fixed now. So I'm going to crack on. It being Wednesday afternoon late, I'm going to crack on, and I'm looking for the bloody ignition switch that I can't find. But I know it's here somewhere, so I'm going to have a tidy up and see if I can find it, and if I can find it, I'm going to put it on in place of this, because this is obviously not good. Every time you see that turn it on to start, the resistance increases. Resistance increasing is going that way, by the way, not that way. This is zero resistance, this is high resistance, so you turn it to start and it works backwards. Right, okay, that'll do for now. I'm going to crack on and see if I can find this bloody switch. Bye now. Well folks, that's about wraps it up for Wednesday. I haven't found the new ignition switch, but I've managed to fix the old one courtesy of some electrical spray, which seemed to cure the faulty connection, and it's now 100% on every position, so we're going to go with that. But further to my testing of the coil, I've tested the HT side as well, and it seems to be, put it like this, it's outside the resistance recommended by Citroen, so I've got a new one on the way, and I've just been putting a new fridge thermostat in my bloody fridge because that had quit as well. So, not got much done today apart from putting about half a dozen slipped off slates on Cousin Keith's roof, but there you go. Some days you get loads done, and most days I don't. But that's winter for you. Okay, see you later. Bye now. Good afternoon people. Thursday, 2:15, and a new gasket has arrived. So I've fitted it. I've checked the float height again, and it's still correct, which is what you'd expect, because you'd expect the gaskets to be the same thickness because it's quite critical on these carburetors. And I'm ready to refit it. I am baffled by one thing. We seem to be getting muck into the carburetor. If you can see that down in the bottom there, let me just get a light. If I can just put my hand on a light. There's a light here somewhere. I wish I could see the light. Ah, there it is. Right. Now, can you see in the bottom there? Yes, you can. There's little bits of muck. Right? Nothing big. But that's getting through a very, very fine gauze filter, theoretically. So I might just have a look at that and check it out while I've got the carburetor top off. Okay, so I'll bring you back if I find anything. Bye now. Well folks, I've put the carburetor top gasket on. Oh look, here's tomorrow's job. Sort out and select the best two for the Volvo estate. Whoops. So I put the carburetor top gasket on, and we now seem to be starting on the key. Isn't that good? So it looks like we have finally sorted the engine problems, and it's about bloody time, I know. Right, so I'm bashing this straight. I've got the front straight, I've got the front in line. I'm bashing all the dents out of it, because what they've done is it's been hammered in, and somebody's run into it with something at the front, and then they've not hammered it out, they've left it twisted, and they've just filled it with gob. So I've knocked the gob out and taken the twist out of it, and it's now straight. I've also, I'm ready to, I've taken the plastic coat off that, and I think I'm just going to tack weld it round, because it'll, much less hassle than rivets, and it'll probably look neater and blend in. And then I'm going to make that one, and then I'm going to make the top one. So, I've straightened that. That panel there is very weak, and it twists and bends out, so what I'm going to do is just weld a piece of straight steel across there in a T shape just to reinforce it. But for Thursday, that's it, because it's just gone 4 o'clock. My mum's just rung me that her computer has finished doing its boot time scan, and I now have to go up and see if it's any better. I'm a man of many talents, most of them useless. So I'll see you all tomorrow for Friday's fun and games. This place is a mess. I'll have to tidy it up. Bye now, folks. When you're doing tin bashing, like I was doing, always remember to put your gloves on, won't you? Bye now. Good afternoon, folks. It's Friday, and I've got nothing done because I've been rebuilding my mum's computer most of the day since I got here at 12 o'clock, and then I've done the wheels, sorted them out, and they're ready to take, so keep spinning, taking them. I got the bonnet beaten straight yesterday, got most of the dents out of it, just a bit finishing off now, and it seems to sit straighter as well, so I shall put it back on Monday. Said tractor, when you use the 2CV starting technique of when it's cold, full choke and no throttle, now starts on the key. So that's a step forward, and I still haven't fitted the new coil, which is coming. It's given delivery for next Wednesday. So I'm gonna finish this week here. I'm not going to get here over the weekend, I know I won't, I never do. So I'm going to crack on Monday. So all I can say is thank you all for watching. Thanks for the comments, thanks for liking. Please subscribe, because it makes all the difference in the world. And I'll see you all next week. Bye for now.